Hello, everybody. How are you all doing today? How are you doing tonight or whenever you are watching? Thank you for being here. We are so excited that you are with us today. Listen, come on in the room. Let's get in where we fit in. Let's get ready for some knowledge and understanding around credit. We are so thankful that you are watching us. Listen, if this is your first time, welcome to Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. We are a business that allows people to be empowered around credit and finances. Listen, we are here to bring you a message every single Friday from 12 p.m. until 12:30, and we are here to always enlighten you, to give you additional knowledge and understanding of things that you may not have ever even considered in the area of finances and credit. So, my name is Michelle Green, also known as KB Michelle Green. So, you can find us pretty much everywhere. And if this is your first time watching, you are in for a treat. Yes, you are. Listen, did you know that Kingdom Builders Credit Repair has been doing business for quite some time, over 30 plus years? Did you know that we help millions of people all over the world? We have helped so many people throughout our timeline of being in business in the industry of credit and finances for over almost 35 years. That's right. So we want you to know that you are coming into a message of understanding and information around credit and finances that is solid, that is definitely something that you can rely on, something that you can depend on. So that's what we do here at Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. Today we are going to be talking about what does it actually mean to get your credit repaired. A lot of people have questions in their minds or maybe have missed around the idea of what it means to actually get their credit repaired, to get their credit fixed, to get their credit restored. So, today we are going to talk about this subject matter. But before we get into that, we want to give a shout out to the platform that we are streamed on, which is called CTR Media Network. We would like to give a shout out to them because they stream us to 3.6 billion people all over the world in over 175 countries. So, shout out to Dr. Tina J. Ramsey and Curtis Ramsey. Thank you all for allowing us to be on your network. And then we also would like to always begin with the information around what credit actually is. We do not want to assume that everybody understands what credit is. So, with that being said, what I would like to share is that credit is your ability to be able, when you don't have enough money yourself, to pay for the things that you need or pay for the things that you want. Then guess what credit does? It allows you to go to a financial institution of any sort and to borrow the money that you don't have today. So, to keep it simplified, if you don't have enough money right now, you can go to a bank or a financial institution like a credit union, some type of institution that lends money, and borrow the money. So, as it relates to credit, no matter who your creditor is, who the lender is that allowed you to borrow money, they are always going to be some sort of a financial institution that is giving you the opportunity to get more money than what you have right now in your pocket. Okay. So, with that being said, you just want to keep it simplified. You just want to understand that when you obtain credit, you are building a reputation with a financial institution. And that's important for us to understand how that should flow. So, as it relates to credit, we got to make sure that our credit is up there. Credit is always going to range between a credit score of 300 to 850. And everybody needs credit because credit is up there with oxygen. So I don't want us to think of credit as just something else that we have to think about here or there. I want us to take it seriously because it is something that is a serious matter, and all of us are impacted by credit, whether we have had to go and gain credit for a place to live, whether we have had to go and gain credit for a vehicle, some furniture, maybe appliances or electronics, whatever it is that we have had to go and purchase because we didn't have enough money to take care of the full balance ourselves to pay it outright. That is what credit is and what it does for us. So I want you to really think about how important that's going to be, not just right now, but even in your future. You cannot live without credit. Now, yeah, it's great for us to make a lot of money. It is absolutely wonderful for us to be getting the change. But the key component of finances is that you got to understand how to manage your money, and you have to understand how to balance your credit. So, we're going to talk about today, though, what does it actually mean for you to be in a credit repair program? When I think about a credit repair program, what we want to understand about that is a credit repair program or a credit company that is repairing people's credit only exists from the mistakes that we have already made. So if you are just starting out with new credit, the best rule of thumb that I can give you is to make sure that you keep your word. If you sign a contract agreement with a creditor and they have a term and condition for you to keep that line of credit for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, or 30 years, like on a mortgage, then just keep your word. If you said that you are willing to pay X amount of dollars every 30 days for the rest of the term of that loan or of that credit card or department store card, then keep your word. If you can just follow that simple rule of thumb, then your credit will be excellent. And you'll have that 850 credit score all the time. Now, we do have other strategies that we can teach you in our Kingdom Builders Credit Repair Program that will help you to actually be able to consistently maintain that over a long period of time. But nevertheless, the simplest way to understand how to manage credit is just to follow the terms and conditions for which you have been given. So if they told you to pay $500 for the next 7 years, then pay the $500 for the next 7 years every month. If they told you to pay $1,000 for the next 30 years, then listen, that is the amount of money that you need to make sure you are implementing every 30 days for the next 30 years. But hopefully, that's only in the case of a mortgage and not any other type of debt, because there shouldn't be anything that you should be paying for 30 years. Let me just say, if you can pay it off early, but do not go below the terms and conditions for which you have been given. So always, if as it relates to having a good credit score and to maintaining credit, just make sure that you're following suit with what you need to do. Now, when we look at what does it actually mean to be in a credit repair program, we have to start out with the understanding that credit is not always going to be managed properly. And so many billions, and I do mean with the B, billions of us have situations that arise in our lives, such as we might have a divorce, we might have a baby, we might have a marriage, we might have death in our family, we might have sickness in our bodies, we might have all types of issues that occur that will throw us off course of doing what it is that we promised that we would do. When that happens, then we need to either figure out if we're able to catch up our payments. Number one, because the first issue around having your credit repaired is having a late payment. So I want us to understand that the first issue or a reason as to why you need credit repair is because maybe you incurred a late payment on your credit. If you incurred a late payment on your credit, what that means is that you're going to lose 50 points from your credit score. And as long as you do nothing about that late payment, then guess what's going to happen? Those 50 points will remain deducted from your credit score every single 30 days. So I don't want us to assume that just because we have paid off our debt for that particular loan or credit card. Maybe the account is even closed. I don't want us to assume that just because the account is closed and is paid and done exactly the way the terms had requested, but we had maybe one or two late payments throughout the history of the loan or the credit card, department store card, we are still going to lose those 50 points, whether the account is open or closed. So, why do you need credit repair? You need credit repair so that we can dispute anything that is inaccurate, that is not supposed to be on your credit to help you to get a better credit score. So that's number one. Number one is that we need to understand that if we fail to make our payments on time, then we need credit repair. All right. So we got that down. Y'all wrote that down. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if you got it. Okay. Next is that we have what is called a charge off write off. A charge off write off is something that happens after we have been late multiple times consecutively in a row. So when we are late multiple times consecutively in a row, that means that in the month of May, in the month of June, in the month of July, in the month of August, in the month of September, in the month of October, we would have consecutive late payments, meaning that we would not have made any payments on the item that we have as a credit item. So if we have late payments consecutively, we end up with what is called a charge off write off. A charge off write off is when you decide that you don't have the money because maybe there was death in the family. And maybe the person who passed away, you were dependent on their income and they no longer are here to provide that income for you. And maybe you were a at home, wife, or maybe you were a at home dad or whatever. We have different scenarios that cause our finances and our credit to be up in the air and all over the place. And it happens to the best of us. So it's not something that any of us can eliminate to be living and going through life. As they say, life be lifing, right? So if life is lifing, then guess what we got to do? We have to understand how to get back on track. So, to get back on track, it actually would mean that if you're in the Kingdom Builders Credit Repair Company program, then you would have the ability to have those items disputed for a permanent deletion. So, we're talking about anything that is inaccurate, anything that has been a problem in your life that has caused you to fall off of the course of paying your debts on time, of paying your debts consecutively on time, and ending up with a charge off or what is called a write off. A charge off write off is just simply when you don't have the ability to consistently keep paying your debts on time every month for a period of 6 months. That's right. It has to be 6 months before the charge off write off even occurs. So if you have a situation where things were just not what you wanted them to be, it did not happen that you were able to go back to work. Maybe you didn't have enough hours on the job to really suffice for the income that you used to make and to be able to pay your debts. Whatever the scenario is, the point is that if you go 6 months without making a payment to any creditor or lender, then that is going to end up being a charge off write off on your credit, and it's going to deduct, are you ready? 75 points from your credit score. 75 points. Yes, that's a lot of points, isn't it? So we want to make sure that you are actually getting the service that you actually need. You need a company that is reputable. You need a organization that knows what they're doing to be able to dispute for a permanent deletion, any inaccuracies, anything that is not supposed to be there that's hurting your credit because of a scenario that happened as an emergency in your life. That's right. So we want to understand that credit repair is surrounded around improving your credit scores through by helping you with the late payments to be removed, helping you with the charge off write offs that need to be removed, and also, thirdly, helping you with a collection or a public record. So, let's talk about a collection and a public record. A collection account is a third party organization that has decided that there's a lender or creditor that you first started out with who has said, okay, you've gone past our limit. Our limit is just to take you to 6 months of being late, and we don't want anything else to do with you. So we're going to transfer this account or sell this account over to what we call a collection agency. A collection agency is another company that has chosen to only collect the debts that we have owed after they have been charged off or written off. So you would actually have to end up with a collection only if you consecutively did not pay on a creditor or lender for 6 months straight. And then the third party collection agency would decide that they would step into the equation and they would start calling you only for to collect the debt from the creditor that hired them to collect the debt that you did not pay. Okay, so when we think about a collection agency, when we think about, we don't want to hear them calling, we don't want to see them on our caller IDs, we don't want to even know who they are. That's the whole ultimate goal of credit and finances. But it happens to all of us. Everybody knows who a collection agency is. And if you don't know, you will find out. Just talk to a few people that's lived a little while, okay? A collection agency is the third party agency that has decided that they're going to accept the debt that you did not pay with the original creditor, but they are also going to get something out of the equation. They're not just there to feel good. What they're doing is, let's say you owe $500 as a balance on a credit card, and that $500 was transferred to the collection agency. Well, even though the collection agency was paid initially for the original creditor to hire them to collect the debt for them, but the collection agency is also going to add an additional amount of money with that $500 so that they can receive something out of the equation. So even though they got paid initially when the original creditor hired them, they're also going to get paid again from you by boosting up the balance because now they own the account. Okay, if the third party collection takes over the account, it means that they own the account. And if they own the account, they can pretty much add a balance of whatever amount of money they want to add. So we are talking about a $500 balance that could go immediately to a $1,000 balance, or maybe even a $1,500 balance. And then they'll call you and say, let's negotiate the price. Let's negotiate. Instead of you paying us $1,500 on a $500 balance originally, let's settle at $750. And you in your mind are thinking like, oh, okay, that's a deal. So you go ahead and you make the payment, but the collection agency that was hired by the original creditor is still going to remain on your credit, just like the charge off write off is going to be there, just like all of the late payments are going to be there. So why do you actually need a credit repair company to fix your credit, to help you to get your credit scores up? Because it does not automatically delete from your credit after 7 years. Most people assume that just because they have something that they've had on their credit for years, that there is a absolute reason for this item to be deleted after it has been on their credit for a certain timeline. And most of us know that timeline to be 7 years. However, 7 years is still going to be there if you never ever do any type of disputing. If you never ever decide that you're going to hire a credit repair agency or an individual to help you with repairing your credit. Now, my recommendation is that you want to go to a place that is actually going to know what they're doing, have the education, and practices this on a regular daily basis. And that, my dear, is Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. Now, I don't know very many companies that are in this field because it is such a detailed field, and it's a field in which most people get into it for the wrong reason of making money, and they get out of it pretty quickly because they realize that there's a lot of responsibility around repairing someone's credit. But as a business owner of Kingdom Builders Credit Repair for, like I said, been doing credit for over 30 plus years, I would recommend that you not just go with an individual, that you go with a reputable company that has the education, the experience, that will be willing to go all out for you to get your credit repaired. Okay, and repaired properly means that the charge off, write off, as well as the late payment, and in addition to what we just spoke about, the collection will be disputed for a permanent deletion if there's an inaccuracy or there's a situation that you need to explain to the credit bureaus as to why this item should not be on your credit. So when we talk about credit repair, why do you actually need credit repair? What does it actually mean to have your credit repaired? It means that anything that hurts your credit is something that needs to be challenged. It's something that needs to have an explanation as to why this should not be on your credit. Why is it hurting your credit? What happened during the seasons of your life to cause this downfall with your credit score? So when we look at it from that angle, it changes the whole game and understanding as to what is actually happening when someone is supposed to repair your credit. It's not just about your scores going up, but it's about you being able to understand how you got there in the first place. And if no one's educating you on how you got there in the first place and how you're going to change the course of being able to maintain having a higher credit score later on, then guess what? You're just going to repeat the same cycle that you first started out with. So what is the use? Over here at Kingdom Builders Credit Repair, we make sure that you are educated on how to maintain your debts, how to maintain not just your debts, but also in addition, we even have we have, sorry, not a VIP, we have an official master class. When I say a master class, we're talking about the official financial dominion master class that teaches you how to budget, teaches you about your taxes, your insurance, your savings, all of your management of your actual finances. And then that leads into you being able to better manage your credit items. So you can't just decide that you're going to leave one portion off and not do the other portion. You can't just decide that when it relates to finances and credit that you're only going to deal with one or the other. You have to deal with both in order for you to really excel with your credit. Because see, at the root of credit is your finances. And if you don't manage your finances well, then you will continue to have a issue with your credit. If you don't understand how to manage your credit and play the credit game, if you don't know the secrets to what is actually happening and why you can only get approved for maybe a small amount of money, or maybe you're not approved at all. Everywhere you go, you're denied. If you don't know the secrets to the game, then come on over to Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. And if you're already a client of Kingdom Builders Credit Repair, please make sure that you are getting your sessions in. These are particular strategy sessions that we establish to make sure that your particular situation is resolved and that you no longer have to deal with these late payments, these charge off write offs, and these collections. But also, in addition to that, that you understand, which is most important, to manage your credit the right way. Do you know how many types of credit you're supposed to have? Do you know how many items, what types of items you're supposed to have on your credit? Do you know if you should have a credit card, or if you should have a loan, or if you should have a furniture account, or if you should have a appliance account? Do you know how it affects your credit when you have student loans on your credit? So these are the kinds of answers that we provide right here at Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. So if you're in our program, please do not hesitate to ask questions about your particular situation. Everybody's credit is very different. It doesn't matter if you have been an authorized user or a co-signer for someone, or if you are the person that is writing somebody else's credit as a co-signer and you needed a co-signer. No matter what the scenario is, listen, we have an answer for you. We've been doing this a very long time, and we are very passionate around making sure that your credit is repaired properly and legally. Let me just speak on that just for a second, okay? We have a lot of companies or people who get into the industry of credit repair and finances that decide that they want to take shortcuts. Did you know that our foundation of Kingdom Builders is based on God's principles? Did you know that we are here to provide you with the truth and only the truth? Okay, we are here to do what is right. So we're not trying to do things that are going to cheat or lie or steal or kill anyone. We're not trying to do any of that. We are trying to do everything by the books legally so that we can make sure that you are receiving the proper care for credit repair. We are here so that you can do the right thing. And once you get those scores up, guess what? You'll be able to keep those scores up. You'll be able to go on with your life for years upon years upon years down the road. And should anything happen, guess what we do? We welcome you to come back so that we can take a look at what's going on in your life at a later point in time. Because guess what? Emergencies are always going to happen. They're always going to be there. So we never know what we're going to encounter until it happens. And we accept our repeat clients. We accept the clients that have been in our program years ago. We see them come back around, maybe around the 5 to 10 year mark. And that is beautiful. It's lovely. And that's the way it's supposed to be, y'all. It's not supposed to be that we don't share this information if we are already in the credit repair program or if we know someone who needs the service. Listen, we got to be able to share the wealth. And that's what we do here at Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. We do it the right way. We make sure that we're telling the truth to you about your particular scenario, your situation, because we want you to be able to excel, and you can't excel in lies. Okay, so you can come over to a trustworthy company, a company that is reliable, a company that is going to do right by you and make sure that you excel to the best of your ability to get your scores up over 700 all the way up to 850. Listen, if you've learned anything from today's message, go ahead and put a comment below of what you took away from today's message. And we are just so grateful that you came today, that you learned something today. And we hope and pray that you will continue to watch us for more information around finances and credit with yours truly, Michelle Green, also known as KB Michelle Green. All right, until next Friday, we'll see you then, 12 o'clock sharp. All right, take care, everybody. Bye bye. Thank you.